Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning into this episode of Sun Devil Learning Labs. This episode is Kindergarten English Language Arts. My name is Miss Kopp. I will be the teacher for your lesson today. Thank you for joining us. Like I said, this lesson is for Kindergarten English Language Arts. We have been working on for the last few weeks our reading and writing foundations. So we are going to continue building on those skills we've been working on for this week, week 3 of our Sun Devil Learning Labs program. So this is week 3, day 1 of our kindergarten English program. Like I said, my name is Miss Kopp, K-O-P-P. That's me. I'll be teaching you for this lesson today and for the rest of this week. Like I said, we're working on those foundation skills, those skills that you need as kindergartners to become amazing readers and writers. So let's jump into what we're doing today. Over here, as always, on the left in orange, we have our agenda. Our agenda, that means what are we going to do during our lesson today? Here's our schedule. Here's what you can expect. We are going to work on our letters, recognizing our alphabet, recognizing some words, our sight words, and then we're going to warm up our listening ears for a really great book that we're going to read aloud today called I Am Renee the Boy. Then we're going to do some hand and finger work and get moving onto our time to draw activities for this week. So we've got some cool drawings. Last week we were doing some kind of crazy shapes. This week we're going to be talking about a new kind of line. So I hope you guys stick around and work on that drawing with us as well. Over here in the green on the right side of your screen, as always, we have our materials. Your materials. That means what tools, what items will you need to get through this lesson with me today? So the first thing you'll need is any book you have. It could be a cookbook, it could be a comic book, it could be a coloring book. Any book you can find is perfect. The next material you will need is going to be some crayons. Excuse me. If you don't have crayons, just something to write with. Maybe it's markers, highlighters, colored pencils. I don't have crayons at home, so I use these colored pens that I have here at my house. So just something to write with. Then we're also going to need something to write on. We'll need a piece of paper. Could be a blank white piece of paper. Maybe it's a lined piece of paper from a notebook. Whatever you have is perfect, just something to write on. And then the last thing we're going to need is something to hang that paper up. So we've been talking about vertical lines up and down. So we're going to hang our paper up and down vertically like that. I hang my papers on my little easel back here, but you can hang yours on a wall. If you don't have an easel at home, you can hang it on the wall. You can even hold it on the wall if you don't have tape or something to secure it on there. So totally up to you. Maybe you have tape or a thumbtack. Like I said, I just use this little Scotch tape. So we'll use that during our drawing time today. So I'll show you guys how to hang up your paper when we get around to that point in our lesson today. As always, we have our standards. That just means, what do the people in charge think that you guys, kindergartners, need to know? What's important that you guys learn and know? So the things we're going to be talking about in our lesson today is breaking down words, really listening to the sounds in a word and figuring out how to break up small little pieces of words, how to squish them together, blending them, mixing them together. We're also going to look at our books, make sure we know how to use a book, where the covers are, who the author is, how we can find information in the book. And then we're going to work on, as usual, our grip on our writing utensils. Maybe it's on our crayons or our markers or our highlighters. We're going to work on our grip when we get into our drawing today. So without further ado, let's get started with our warm-up. This is my favorite part of every day that we do. It's our ABC song. If you know it, please feel free to sing it with me. If you don't know it, maybe rewind the video a few times and listen to the song. And when you feel comfortable, you can sing along and join us too. I'm gonna have a little sip of water to warm up my singing voice. I recommend if you have a drink, take a drink as well right now. Okay. Phew. Now my voice is ready to sing the ABCs. So let's get started. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Nice job, everybody. The ABCs, that's our warm-up song. We've done it every day. If you've been watching our other episodes, you're probably very familiar with it by now. I hope you're singing along with me as we do it. And we're definitely going to do it again. Tune back in tomorrow, week 3, day 2. We'll be singing our alphabet. So today we have our letter of the day, So down here in the bottom middle, you can see our letter written out. If you know what this letter is, go ahead, pause the video, say it to someone next to you. What is the name of this letter? This letter is called R. R, it's the sound. So here we have the uppercase R on the right. On the left, we have the uppercase R. On the right, we have the lowercase r, the little r. And then up here at the top, we have a picture of something that starts with an R. It is a rabbit. Rabbit. That is a rabbit that starts with the R, the sound. And then over here on the left side of the screen, just as always, I have our sign language. So sign language is a language used by people who cannot hear well. It's hard to communicate if they can't hear the words that we're saying, right? So this is a language that's all about using your hands and your eyes to communicate. So by using your hands, you can communicate the letter R, the sound. So to make the letter R in sign language, I will show you guys. Start with your hand up, spread all your fingers out. And to make that R sound, all you have to do is leave up just your pointer finger and your middle finger. Curl the rest of your fingers. So your pointer finger and your middle finger are both still up, and then you twist them. Oh, actually, I think I have it backwards. Let me look at our picture one more time and see. I'll show my picture on the screen one more time so we can all see it. So your pointer finger is crossed in front. So it looks like this. So let me go back to my full picture here. So go like you're holding up a 2, or peace, guys. Holding up your peace sign, and then you twist your fingers so your pointer finger, the finger on the end, your pointer finger comes in front of your middle finger. See, my middle finger is wiggling around back here. My pointer finger is in front. So that's how you say the letter R in sign language. So that's pretty cool, right? We're learning a second language basically while we're learning our alphabet. So the letter R in sign language. Now I have a mystery bag. We've been doing this for some of our letters of the week, a little mystery bag. And I'm going to pull out from this really full mystery bag some objects that start with the letter R. So the first thing I found in my house that starts with the letter R is some ribbon. This is like something you tie around presents. You see maybe like at Christmas or at birthdays, of it tied around presents and looking really pretty. Ribbon. Ribbon. That starts with the R sound. I also found a rag. It's like a little hand towel. A rag. Things you might use to wipe something up. A rag. And then the last thing I found was something that was falling off of one of my cat's toys, and I cut it off, and she's probably pretty mad at me. It's a piece of rope. She has this rope wrapped around like a cat tower, so it looks like this, but all wrapped around a big piece of wood, and she scratches it. She really likes to scratch rope. That's a piece of rope. Rope starts with an R. So our R mystery bag items were ribbon, that red ribbon. Oh, I didn't even realize that. The ribbon is red, which also starts with R. Red ribbon, a rag, and some rope. So those are our mystery bag items for today. R, rag, rope, ribbon. Awesome. So I have some practice with the letter R. As always, feel free to screenshot this page if you would like. You can print it out so you can write on it with a writing utensil like a crayon or a marker, or you can also trace it on screen. Let me move my little video picture out of the way so you can get a good screenshot of it. There you go. So you can practice tracing it. If you can't print it out, you can trace it with your finger on the computer screen. So don't actually touch your computer screen. We don't want to hurt the computers. Don't actually touch your computer. Just hover your finger over it without actually touching it. And you can trace the letters on the screen. So you can trace with your finger this uppercase R, uppercase R, uppercase R. And you can do the same with the lowercase r's on the bottom row. And then over here on the left, there's actually instructions. If you don't know how to write the letter R, it has it numbered. First, you go down. Second, you make this loop. Third, you go slant right. So it shows you a picture. It has the directions written right here. So feel free, like I said, to screenshot that page, pause the video here if you want to trace it and use some more time to work on that. That's perfect. Or like I said, print it off and you can draw on it and write on it and get some practice that way as well. So that's our letter of the day, the letter R. Now we're going to move on to our word of the week. So our word of the week for this week is can. 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 That's our word of the week. This word, can, let's count how many letters it has. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. This word has 3 letters. 3 letters. This first letter is C. It says k, k, k. Second letter, middle letter, is A. It says ah, ah, ah. And the third letter, the last letter, is N. N. It makes the n sound. So when we blend those sounds together, when we squish those sounds together, blend them together, it sounds like can, can, right? So I can tie my shoes. I can zip up my jacket. I can put my hair in a ponytail. Can, that is our word of the week. So try to remember what letter did our word of the week start with? Can. What letter can? What letter is at the beginning of that word? Can. If you said the letter C, you would be correct. The letter C, that is the first letter of the word can. So that's our word of the week. We'll be talking about it every day during these week 3 episodes. So please tune back in and see what else we're going to be talking about the word can. I'm sure we'll have a lot more information and games to use. I'm going to have a sip of water really quick. If you have a drink with you, I recommend you have a sip as well. I live in the desert. I live in Arizona where it's really hot and really dry. So I am always drinking water. If you've watched my episodes before, you probably always see me with this huge purple bottle, and it's always got a ton of ice, which you can probably hear jingling around in there, and a ton of water. It's really important to drink a lot of water, especially when you're in a hot place and a dry place. So if you guys live in Arizona as well, make sure you are drinking plenty of water. Every time I take a sip, you should take a sip too. So our next activity to get our ears warmed up for our read aloud, which is coming up next, it's a little game I like to play called How Many Syllables? So the way this game works is I will read a few words. You listen closely while I read some words. And for each word, we will count on our fingers how many syllables are in each word. So syllables, it means like how many little parts are in each word. I'll give you an example. And this word is a little bit longer, so it'll be a good example. The word is telephone. Telephone. I call you on the telephone, right? Telephone. So let's count how many syllables there are. I have a little trick where you put your hand underneath your chin, and you can tell when your chin moves down when you talk. You can feel your hand moving down too, right? So when your chin moves down, that's one syllable. So in the word telephone, let's see how many times my chin moves down. Tell a phone. Tell a phone. Tell a phone. So I know the word telephone has 3 syllables. 3 syllables in the word telephone. So let's try a few examples. We'll do them together. I will count them afterwards, but try to count them on your own first when I'm saying them. So remember, listen closely and then we'll count them together. So the first word is sun. Sun. How many syllables are in the word sun? So let's use my trick where we hold our hand below our chin and feel when it moves down. That's a syllable. Sun, 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 sun. My chin only moves down one time, right? I can hear there's only one syllable, sun. Only one syllable in the word sun. Let's try another one a little bit longer. The word is hammer. Hammer. How many syllables are in the word hammer? So let's try counting it. Let's try just listening. Hammer. 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 Let's try doing our chin trick. Hammer. 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 So the word hammer has 2 syllables in it. Hammer. 2 syllables. Let's try one more together before we get into our read aloud. The next word is tomato. Tomato. How many syllables are in the word tomato? So let's see if we can hear them just with our listening ears. Tomato. Tomato. How many parts in that word? Let's try using our chin, or holding our hand below our chin to figure it out. Tomato. 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 So how many syllables are in the word tomato? 1, 2, 3. 3 syllables are in the word tomato. So now it is time for our read aloud of I Am Renee the Boy. So this book is really, really cool because, let me get it shared on my screen here for you guys. It's really cool because it is in English and in Spanish. So if you speak Spanish or you have somebody with you that can speak Spanish and you would prefer to hear the book in Spanish, go ahead and you can mute the video while I read it and just read it in Spanish. You can pause the video on each page and listen to the English first, then listen to the Spanish. It's totally up to you. I'm still learning Spanish. I'm not fluent, so I will not read the whole story in Spanish, but please, if you are fluent or you speak Spanish, take the time to read this book in Spanish as well. That would be fantastic. So you'll see when we get into it what I mean when I say in English and in Spanish. You can see on the cover right here. Let me move my video picture for you. Here's our title. I am Renee the boy. And it actually has the title right below it in Spanish as well. Soy Renee, el niño. That means I am Renee the boy. They mean the same thing, just in English and in Spanish. And we can see down here we have the author's name and the illustrator's name. The author, that means who wrote the book, who wrote the words for the book. And the illustrator, that means who drew the pictures, who created the pictures for the book. So the cover of our book, this whole thing, the cover of our book has a lot of important information about our story here, right? So let's get into it. Let's see what Renee gets up to. So you can see up here, this part is in English, and then this part on the bottom, it says the same exact words, just in Spanish. So like I said, feel free, if you know Spanish, feel free to mute the video or pause the video and read it in Spanish as well. My name is Renee, like my grandfather and my father. I am Renee the third. I learned to write my name in El Salvador. I wrote it everywhere. I wrote it with the charcoal from Mama's brick oven. I traced it with a stick on the fresh rain soil. In El Salvador, I was Renee the brave, Renee the strong, and Renee the funny. I cannot believe it. Here in the United States, Renee is a girl's name. I discovered it when a new student joined my classroom and Miss Soria called roll. Jose, Marie, Carlos. Here, everyone answered. Renee, she said. As I started to say here with pride, I heard a girl's voice answer to my name. She was the new student. Here I am, I'm Renee, she said. She looked at me and smiled. My mouth dropped. I was paralyzed. During recess, some boys came up and taunted me. You have a girl's name. So here we can see Renee, he's in class, and it looks like the girl Renee, she just sat down next to him, right? She's saying, I'm here, I'm Renee. She's raising her hand to tell their teacher. In the kitchen, while we were eating fried plantains with sour cream and hot chocolate, I told my parents, the boys at school say that Renee is a girl's name. I have never heard such a thing, Papa said. Renee is the name of a hardworking man. Renee is a beautiful name. Don't listen to them, Mama said. That's right. My name is so beautiful that a girl copied it from me, I said as a piece of fried plantain disappeared into my mouth. So you can see they're eating fried plantains. Plantains are sort of like small bananas. And they are really, really good. They fry them up, like he said, and eat them with sour cream. That is a dish from El Salvador, a food they eat over there that's really common and really, really yummy. And then you see their mugs with hot chocolate. Renee said they have some hot chocolate as well. You can see the steam coming out of there, so we know it's still hot, right? At school, my desk partner was Renee the girl. She was behind me every time we lined up in alphabetical order. She was always smiling at me. During recess, she told me she wanted to be my best friend. Are you sure that your name is Renee? I asked her. You're a girl. Maybe your name is Irene and you lost the I in your alphabet soup. No, she told me. My parents named me Renee. So here you can see Renee the girl. She came up to Renee the boy and said, I want to be your best friend. She's like, let's have lunch together. Let's hang out. Let's be friends. And he said, are you sure? After recess, we went to the school library. There were many shelves with books. Some were so high that I could not reach them, even if I stood up on my tiptoes. Boys and girls, all these books are for you, the librarian said. We use books to read, study, and research information. Research? What can I research? I asked her. Anything you want. These books have information on anything, she told me. Afterwards, the children borrowed books. I looked for the perfect book from left to right and up and down. Here it is, I exclaimed, the meaning of names. So he found a book in all these giant shelves. He found a specific book that is about the topic he is talking about the thing he's talking about. In the evening, I fell asleep on the sofa while I watched a movie. When Mama tried to pick me up to go to bed, I woke up. You're too heavy, mijo, she told me. A few years ago, you were just a baby. In my room, I took the library book from my backpack. There was a list of boys' and girls' names in alphabetical order. I looked for the letter R. Renee, here it is. Origin, French. Meaning, reborn. Then I looked in the dictionary and discovered that reborn meant to be born again. So his name, Renee, originally meant to be born again. The next day, we made a chart with our names. Miss Soria said my name and wrote Renee on the board. That's not how you write Renee, I said to my teacher. How do you write it? My teacher asked. I picked up an eraser and removed the last E and wrote an accent mark on the second E. Renee, Renee. The girl then took the eraser away from me and wrote it back the way it was. Renee. This is the way I write my name, she told me. After I saw her name on the board, I felt much better. Her name was different. Hers has 5 letters, and mine has only 4 letters. So here he's saying that her name, girl Renee, her name is spelled like this. She has 5 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But boy Renee, his name only has 4 letters. You can see it written in the text over here. Right here you can see it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 letters. So they're different. They sound the same, but they're spelled different. Before going home, the teacher passed a flyer. It said this: the school library presents the first writing contest of the school year. Open topic, write on any subject. A winner will be chosen next month. Prize, 2 extra large pizzas. I love pizzas, Renee said. Me too, I said. So you can see the teacher passing out the flyer saying free pizza. At home, after going to bed, I decided to participate in the writing contest. What can I write about? I asked myself as I fell asleep. In the following weeks, I took notes on all the things I had discovered about my name. Then I wrote my essay. A month later, during the assembly in the auditorium, the librarian announced the first place winner. I could not believe what my ears were hearing. I won, I said as I jumped up and down. I came to the stage and the principal asked me to read my essay. So here Renee is, he's in his bedroom, he's got his books, he's got his pencils. It looks like he's busy doing research on his name. I am Renee. In Spanish, Renee is a boy's name. In English, my name with an extra E at the end is a girl's name. Renee is a French name that means to be reborn, to be born again. I have read about men named Renee in books. I found René Descartes. He was a philosopher. In my teacher's art books, there was a painting by René Magritte. But I don't look like the Renés in those books. I have brown skin, like the sweetbread that Mama gives me for breakfast. I have black straight hair that does not like combs or brushes. I have beautiful black eyes like Mama and strong arms like Papa. So here Renee is, you can see him, he's celebrating. He's got his medal saying he's won, and that's his essay he's holding in his hand, and look at his giant smile. And his friends are smiling down here for him as well. My name, Renee, is different. It is my very own name. The letter R is for the railroad that ran in front of my house in El Salvador. The letter E is for my country, El Salvador. The letter N is for never give up. The letter E is for my new country, Estados Unidos, the United States. The accent mark at the end is what makes my name strong and powerful. I am this Renee. So here's a picture of all the things he was talking about: the train track that goes in front of his house, the accent. Here's the flag of El Salvador and the flag of the United States. So his name, he says, is a real representation of him. His name really tells a lot about who he is. Here in the United States, the names of many words change in English. Mi escuela is now my school, and mi casa is my house. Even mama is now mom, and papa is dad. They don't understand if I call them mom and dad, but Renee is Renee in English and Spanish. Sometimes people pronounce my name differently. I don't care because I know who I am. In English, I found Renee in my favorite color, green. Renee is written backwards in energy. I have a lot of energy. I can find Renee in what I like the most, adventures. So there he is celebrating his first place with his mama and papa. Now I know why Renee means to be reborn, to be born again. First, I was born in El Salvador, where I learned to write my name and speak my favorite language, Spanish. Now I am born again in the United States, where I learned to speak English. I am so lucky that after I was born again, I can speak, read, and write in English and in Spanish. When I finished reading, everyone clapped. The principal gave me 2 extra large pizzas. I shared the pizza with my classmates. I like your name, Renee told me with a slice of pizza in her hands. I like your name too, I said as I took another slice of pizza. So there he is. What a nice kid. Renee decided to share his pizza with his whole class. So that was our story about the Renees. They did a great job, right? We found out a lot about Renee, a lot about his name, and how his name tells about who he is, right? And we got to learn about some Spanish and some English along the way. So that was awesome. So that was our story. I am Renee, the boy. Now we're going to talk about our tripod grip. We talk about this every single week, every single day even, because it's that important. So our tripod grip is how we hold what we're going to write with. Maybe it's your crayon, maybe it's a marker, maybe it's a colored pencil. For me, it's these colored pens that I use. They're the coloring things I have at home. So to do your grip the right way, first you are going to take your pointer finger and your thumb, and you're going to pinch the bottom part of your writing utensil. Not the very bottom that you're actually going to color with, maybe just a little bit above it. You're going to pinch the bottom end. Pinch. And then, last thing you need to do, take your middle finger, and let your marker rest on top of it. Rest on top of it. There it goes. So when you're done, you just have 3 fingers on your writing tool, right? 1, 2, 3. That is our tripod grip. So when we get to our drawing and our coloring, we are going to want to make sure we use that grip. We position our fingers in that spot while we're coloring and while we're drawing. That is our tripod grip. So I also just wanted to review our directions really quick. Since we've been talking about different lines, different shapes, it's important to know directions so we understand how to make those shapes. So I have a little worksheet if you want to screenshot it. You can do that to print it out and do this activity at home or at school multiple times. But today I will just say some directions and you will point to, on your computer screen, point to, remember, don't actually touch your computer screen, just hover over it and point to which direction I am talking about. For example, if I said the middle, I would point to this middle circle. This is where I would take my finger and point to on my screen. So that was my example, the middle. Now I'm going to ask you some real ones, and you point to which circle is which. So where is the bottom circle? The bottom circle. Point to the bottom circle. So the bottom circle is right here at the bottom of the screen. Now point to the circle on the right. The circle on the right. Point to the circle on the right. That is right here, this circle on the right. Let's try another one. Where is the circle on the left? Circle on the left. Over here, the circle on the left. And our last one, where's the circle on the top? The circle on the top. Oh, up here, we know up here is the top, and here is our circle on the top. So remember those directions, top, bottom, left, right, while we're talking about how to draw these lines. So like I said in the beginning, we are going to be talking about a new kind of line this week. I'm going to take a sip of water really quick. That read aloud really made my throat a little dry. Again, you should take a drink of water as well. Okay, that's way better. So last week and week 1 and week 2, we were talking about horizontal lines, which are side to side, just like my marker, horizontal lines. We also were talking about vertical lines, which are up and down, like my marker is right now, vertical lines. Now we're going to be talking about diagonal lines. Diagonal lines. So diagonal lines, they can look like this way, or it could be this direction too. Those are diagonal lines. When they're not vertical, they're not horizontal, they're diagonal, kind of at an angle, diagonal. So today we are going to practice drawing some diagonal lines. It is that time, so take out whatever materials you have for our drawing time. Maybe you have crayons, maybe it's colored pencils, markers, highlighters, take those out. Also take out your piece of paper that we will be using to write on and to draw on today. I'm trying to find my piece of paper over here. And now is also the time when I said to get out something to hang your piece of paper with. Maybe it's tape like I'm using. Maybe you have a thumbtack you could pin to your wall. Maybe you have some of that sticky putty that's safe to put on walls and paper. I am just going to take a piece of tape, a pretty small piece. You don't need a lot. There's my little piece of tape. I'm going to put it on the top of my paper and then stick it onto my board. For you, maybe you're sticking it onto your wall. Maybe you don't have an easel like this one. That was a gift from another teacher friend. Thank you, teacher friends. So let's draw our diagonal lines. Let me go full screen for you guys so you can see up close what we're doing here. I'm trying to get my drawing board a little closer too. Okay. I think that's as close as we're going to get it, kids. So we're working on our diagonal lines. Remember, diagonal means they're not quite vertical, not quite horizontal. They're somewhere in the middle. They're these tilted lines, right? So to draw a diagonal line, here is how we are going to do it. You are going to start at the top and draw down and right at the same time. So you're going diagonal. Oop, my paper moved while I was trying to draw. So let's try it again. You start at the top and you move down and to the right. just like that, down and to the right. So let's try making 3 diagonal lines, 3 diagonal lines. So I already have 1, 2. Pause the video if you need a little bit more time to practice or you want to make more than 3. Feel free to pause the video here. And here is another 3rd diagonal line. Maybe you're making small little diagonal lines, or maybe you make a really big one that goes the whole length of your page. It's up to you. So that's one direction of the diagonal line, but we also have diagonal lines that go this way, that go the other way as well. So to do that, we're going to start at the top again, and you're going to move down and to the left. So last time we were moving to the right, this time we're going to go to the left. So start at the top and go down and to the left. Remember, we're using that tripod grip while we're writing as well, right? Tripod grip. So you go start at the top, go down and to the left. So let's do 3 of these as well. Again, feel free to pause the video here if you want to take some more time to practice. Maybe you want to make some drawings using vertical lines. I'm sure you could get really creative with what you can do with that. So that is how you do those vertical lines. You start at the top, you move down and to the side. So that is a vertical line. We will be working on that for the rest of week 3, so don't feel rushed or bothered if you don't get it right away. That's totally perfect and fine. We will keep working on those diagonal lines. I actually have some practice here for us. You can feel free to screenshot this and print it out. That way you can write on it with crayons, markers, whatever you have. Or you can do like we were doing before, where you use your finger. You're not actually touching the screen, you're just hovering over it and tracing the different shapes on the screen. So these top ones, these first 3, these are review, right? That's our vertical line, our horizontal line, and our circle. So those are review from week 1 and 2, but here are our diagonal lines, the diagonal lines. So really get some good practice with those diagonal lines. I also have some activities to do at home, just like always. If you're looking for some activities that are solo activities, go to week 1 episodes. If you're looking for some activities that are for students and families to do together, check out our week 2 episodes. And this week I'm kind of doing a mix of both solo and with others activities. So for example, the first one we have is to work on your directions, your spatial awareness. So we'll play a hide and seek type of game where player 1 will hide an object and player 2 will look for the object. While player 2 is looking for the object, player 1 will give hints like on top of, to the right of, to the left of. So using those direction words we were talking about, top, bottom, left, right, middle. And you can keep playing that as long as you want. You can use as many objects to hide as you want and switch roles back and forth. It's totally up to you guys. But the whole point is using those direction words, top, right, left, and bottom. Another great activity, this one is a solo activity, is to play, sculpt, and build with Play-Doh or with slime. You can make either out of homemade materials. I'll include a link in the learning guide that is with this video where you can go for recipes for that, because that is a great activity to build that hand strength to become really, really great writers and work on that grip of your writing utensils. So those are the activities I have for at home this week. Like I said, check out our other episodes if you're looking for some more activities to do together, to do alone. It's totally up to you. Thank you so much for watching this. This has been week 3, episode 1. Like I said, I'll be back with many more episodes week 3 coming to you. My name has been Miss Kopp. Thank you for joining me for this lesson. I hope you got some good practice and maybe learned something new today. Be safe until I see you again, guys. Thank you.